The City of Ohio State podcast takes a deep dive into the support services that keep OSU's Columbus campus running 24/7. Hear from industry experts in facilities, construction, real estate, public safety, transportation, and more. The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning. Go Bucks! Hello and welcome to the City of Ohio State podcast. I'm your host, Dan Hedman. Last month, we learned about Framework 3.0 and the progress Ohio State is making on campus planning for the coming decades. That's a nice segue into today's episode as we welcome back Kristen Polderman. She's Associate Vice President of Ohio State's Facilities Design and Construction team. Kristen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Dan.
Design and construction is responsible for carrying that planning vision forward with the bricks and mortar. When we spoke in season 1, you told us that Ohio State has a more than $3 billion construction portfolio with upwards of 800 projects happening at any given time. Today, we'll focus on a few of the major projects that are closing in on completion. First up, the Pelotonia Research Center, formerly known as the Interdisciplinary Research Center. This facility is located at Carmenton, Ohio State's Innovation District, and recently got its new name as a nod to Pelotonia's partnership and philanthropic support of cancer research. What can you tell us about this 305,000 square foot facility set to open this summer?
Yeah, we're excited to activate and turn over the Pelotonia Research Center. This building brings together multiple research disciplines, and yes, 2 floors are dedicated to the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center and the new Pelotonia Institute for Immuno-Oncology. We met our completion date on time, early March, and currently the final furnishings, lab casework, AV equipment, interior signage, branding elements are all being installed within the building. Commissioning work is being finalized, which basically makes sure that all systems are working and finely tuned throughout. And soon we'll see the exterior sign go up on the exterior of the building. This will be installed closer to the official opening in early May.
That's great. And it's an exciting building. And there's another one co-located with the Pelotonia Research Center. It's the Energy Advancement and Innovation Center. That's a $48.4 million project, and it will be a space for Ohio State faculty members, students, alumni, NG Buckeye operations researchers, local entrepreneurs, and even industry experts to work together on the next generation of smart energy systems, renewable energy, and even green mobility solutions. I know there are some great sustainability features in this space. Can you talk about those and why these elements are important to your team's work?
Yeah, when we started working on all of the time and change projects, we set a priority to establish specific sustainability performance standards, which our updated university sustainability standards are based on. And it includes sustainability standards included on all projects. The Energy Advancement and Innovation Center building prioritizes multiple passive and active sustainability strategies to reduce energy consumption. And I'll highlight a few for you here. The building solar panels on the roof, they're not only a design feature, but the plan is for them to supply over half of the building's electricity. So you'll notice that the building uses also translucent wall panels on the exterior to allow for natural light to penetrate the space. And the building itself is also skewed a bit. So it's on a bit of an angle, and this is so that it's at the most efficient angle for solar gain in Columbus, Ohio, for the panels on the roof. Now, energy performance is obviously a highlight for this building. So I talked about the standards and how much we're focused on actual performance. And we measure energy use by energy performance on a per square footage basis. So I'll give you an idea of where we're modeling the performance on this building. A building like this has a standard range of 50 to 60 kBTU. So that's basically energy per square foot. And that's the basic range for education academic buildings like this. And this building is currently designed and modeled to be below that range at about 48.4 kBTU per foot. So we're right below that range, which is excellent for a building like this. The other exciting part of this is that the building itself will provide research information. So there will be opportunities to study the panels and the energy it'll provide, in addition to the research that's imagined within the space, because we can't forget that the purpose of the building is that the researchers, local entrepreneurs, industry experts will come together and work on next generations of smart energy systems and renewable energy and green mobility solutions right here in this building.
I mean, what a microcosm for the work that happens at Ohio State. You're getting public and private together in this building that is energy efficient. They're able to study the building itself. I mean, really sounds like a great fit. Rounding out the Carmenton construction, let's spotlight the James Outpatient Care. This building is also set to open soon. What is the status of it and the anticipated impact of the cancer-focused facility?
Yeah, so we're almost to the finish line on the James Outpatient Care building. We will be wrapped up with construction within the building late April, early May, and then we have a few months of activation work. So again, this includes finishing up furniture, medical equipment, commissioning activities. Now, the most visible items on the exterior will be installation of the exterior sign on the building, all of the final asphalt, soils, landscaping, which of course we need a little warmer weather to complete, but everyone will begin to see these items come together this spring and early summer. The exciting and most rewarding part is that patients are scheduled in this building late summer, and for Proton, which is in partnership with Nationwide Children's, they will begin their FDA approvals. Their process starts this fall, once the commissioning is done on that proton therapy equipment. And once they receive actually that FDA approval, they'll actually begin to see patients. So it's rewarding to have another great building that will give patients and families access to the best cancer care right here.
I mean, it's just amazing as we talk through these, how many truly major projects your team is moving forward all at the same time. And we've talked about research, we've talked about now patient care, and now we'll jump back to the academic core. The Arts District is just about wrapped up. The Timashev Family Music Building opened last year, and construction of the Theater, Film, and Media Arts Building ends in March. Any interesting nuggets about this space, which I understand will open for programming by August of this year?
Yeah, so staff began moving into the offices located on the upper floors of the Theater, Film, and Media Arts Building early March. Like the other buildings I talked about, this one is in the final phases as well. We're definitely in a transition period with this project where some parts of the building finishes are still being finalized. Some parts have folks moving in, and many of the performance spaces are setting up lighting and stage components. With better weather, of course, the exterior can also be finalized this spring and summer, but the bulk of the moving will continue through June when Drake Performance Center is vacated and items from that building are moved over into this building. But the building itself will open for programs in August.
Yeah, I've been in that space a few times, and one of the cool things about it is its proximity to the Oval. It really is in the heart of campus. Some good views over there, don't you think?
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
So opening a new theater allows for the demolition of Drake Performance Center. That's a key cog in the Cannon Drive Phase 2 project. And while it maybe doesn't get quite as much attention, I know that project is vitally important to the university to provide a certified flood levee. How has Ohio State learned from disasters like what happened at Iowa some 15 years ago and incorporated that into its campus planning?
Yeah, so my understanding of the University of Iowa flood in 2008 was that it caused $750 million worth of damage, ruined a quarter of the campus classrooms, and closed 1/6 of its total campus square footage. And the Cannon Drive relocation phase 2 portion of Cannon project spans from Herrick to Woody Hayes, not only straightens and rebuilds the road, but completes the levee, providing 500-year flood protection. This is so critical to protect our investments in infrastructure, especially when you think about the major investments being made on the medical center campus today. Now, later this year, the demolition of Drake will begin as part of the Cannon project. Once the building is vacated, and obviously I talked about, when that's vacated over to the Arts District's building, that's when demolition will begin.
Yeah, and just to kind of put some perspective on that, right? So there was a Cannon phase 1 and a Cannon phase 2. Phase 1 was King to Herrick. That was 100-year flood protection. But in order to get that 500-year flood protection, which basically means a flood event that's likely to happen once every 500 years, that's why this second phase is needed. And while the likelihood is rare, if it were to happen, the damage it would cause would be just massive, especially with the new inpatient hospital, an almost $2 billion project going right in that area. So
Sure.
definitely an important project. And I know one that will have some impacts on traffic, both multimodal and vehicular traffic this summer and beyond. But many more projects we could discuss. Newton's first floor renovation will open by the summer to support the College of Nursing. The Interdisciplinary Health Sciences Center soldiers on with classroom space close to opening this summer. And then the third phase of Hamilton likely ready by January of 24. But I want to ask about the Wexner Medical Center Inpatient Hospital. We referenced it earlier. It's the biggest project in Ohio State's history. What's the latest with that?
Yeah, so structural steel is now complete. We had a really nice topping out ceremony not too long ago, a couple months ago, and overall progress is going very well. We're about 50% through the project, so that's a huge milestone. The project has areas on the lower floors that are being finished with drywall and painted, and then upper floors where you actually see a little bit of open steel that are beginning to get wrapped in curtain wall and exterior glazing. This is one project where you feel like every part of a project, from finishing to raw steel getting completed and wrapped, is all happening in one project, which is pretty amazing. We do have some roofing that will begin on level 26, so the most upper level, in April. And our helipad structure also begins in April.
That is just such a huge project that will have reach across the entire region in terms of the impact on the citizens of Ohio and the Midwest in reality. So another important project your team's working on. Hey, we have a little extra time here, so I want to work in another question. I know your team is really working to transform the way you approach your work, working not only with third-party vendors, but also with your customers here at Ohio State. Can you give us an update on stakeholder insights, what you're hoping to accomplish and what you've done so far?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'd love to. We've been doing a ton of work, both internally with process improvements and, as you mentioned, with our stakeholders and customers around campus and with industry partners. And we've had a lot of workshops around really approaching conversations about our selection process. How do we put GMPs together, guaranteed maximum prices on, with our contractors? And those have been incredibly enlightening. And those are really important conversations to listen and hear from industry, because industry changes, and especially with construction in Columbus right now, moving so quickly, and some of the challenges that we're having with labor and materials still, and obviously a lot of work happening. We just want to be open to having the conversation, being flexible with what we're doing. Looking at ways to move the process quicker. How do we get paid quicker? How do we just improve the experience at Ohio State? And we want to be a customer of choice, a client of choice. We want to serve our customers on campus, even better than what we have been, and provide value. So that all comes with conversations and continuing to become flexible. We've rolled out also a number of process improvements internally. We've been looking at our estimating process. We've got a great estimator here in-house, Michael Harashi. He's been wonderful. He's going to be connecting with some industry folks that are specific to estimating contractors who have, in-house estimators. He's going to be setting up some sessions with them just to, tap into local resources. We've also rolled out some financial forms to be able to better serve our customers on campus and talk to them about where their budgets stand. So this is the tip of the iceberg. As you can tell, I could talk all day about some of these things because I am passionate about all of the changes that we're making, but we're excited about it. And this is a multi-year process for us, but we've gotten a great jump start.
Well, when you're working with billions of dollars and hundreds of projects, it's important to be good stewards of those public resources. So we appreciate you taking a deep dive and appreciate you taking the time today to chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, Dan.
Yeah. The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning. Until next time, be kind and go Bucks.